Joe, really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
pleasure
you.
having you a chat with you, and
Thank you.
being right here in Dubai in front of the KLite stand. KLite being a supporter of the virtual lighting design community, probably one of the earlier supporters, actually.
Yes, that's true.
But we'd love to take this moment. We're here in Light Middle East in Dubai in 2024, just to maybe have a look to see what KLite's all about, and maybe Joe, you could give a bit of an intro about yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Joseph. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been in KLite for about 9 years now. We are the premier architectural lighting design and product manufacturing company in India, Southeast India. Been in business for about 44 years. And we're just kind of branching out into the international market now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know it's still early days with the the first day of the event.
Right.
Hard to tell what it's going to be about
Yeah.
at the moment, but
Yeah, I think it's like 1 o'clock here. Yeah.
so maybe what I'll do is direct a bit. Maybe we can talk a bit more about KLite and the way you guys work. I know that the event is a lot about being responsible, not only as lighting designers, but also a big part of that is how manufacturers can play a big role in being responsible as well. In terms of sustainability, circular economy, darkness, anything like that. So maybe you could speak to how maybe some of the processes you guys have, or the product lines, can speak to that sort of sustainable side.
Well, one thing we try to do with sustainability is in the last 10 years we've done most of our tooling, and most of our new products are designed to be made up as many aluminum products as possible.
Okay.
So, for example, in the booth today, there are. This is about 95% aluminum material.
Yeah.
So, as you know, aluminum is the only material that you can recycle infinite number of times.
Right.
Except gold, I think.
Except gold.
That's not something that we use that much.
Yeah. Recycle that.
Right. So we do that, and then for dark sky compliance, we try to. We have a lab, an Enable certified lab,
right?
And we use that to measure the light output of the products that we're designing to try to make sure that we're dark sky compliant moving forward with our products.
All right.
So we've been doing that for probably about 6 years now.
Okay.
So that's kind of to help with the environment and that sort of thing.
Now, just looking forward as well, is there anything sort of trend-wise, or maybe in your sort of development pipeline that might be interesting for people to know about, where you guys headed in terms of that?
Well, we know that the thank you. We know that the market. Yeah, big question. We know that the market is, IoT is a big thing, right? So I think you've already said sustainability, dark sky compliant. So people are going more towards like human-centric lighting. How it's affecting the animals and the environment, and then also how we can kind of tie in the way that we do things now, which is a whole lot of IoT, and how we can kind of bring that more in the outdoors, right? So as you know, we've got our own smart pole, which has got EV charging, camera, Wi-Fi, speaker. I mean, we even have one that's decorative now. This is just a sample of one of the ones that we have. So we have a lot of that, and we try to tie in as much of that as we possibly can. So that actually that helps, because you've reduced the number of poles, you reduce the number of just kind of general things that are around, right? So instead of having like a pole that's got Wi-Fi on it and having a different pole with cameras on it somewhere else, we've kind of combined all those in one space, so that you have less visual, it's more visually appealing if you've got a landscape that's showing more of the greenery and that sort of thing, and not kind of,
and I guess you were talking as well about environmental side of things, and nature and animals and that sort of thing. With that in mind, we're talking probably about glare controls, color temperature, the way that maybe we respond and animals respond to the light output and the light source.
If you take an animal and you shine a light in its face, it doesn't like it. But no, we have done a lot with that. So as an example, I think standard has been 3,000K for a long time, and then there's some companies offering 2,700 outdoors. We even are working with some people to get it even below that.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps also.
Okay. I think what we might do now is head into our booth. We're neighbors,
Sure.
you see, so KLite's here. We've got our booth over there, so we might wander over there and have a bit more of a chat about the virtual lighting design community.
Sure, wonderful.
Being a supporter of ours.
Uh-oh. We could have moved these.
So let's have a seat. So Joe, we're here at the virtual lighting design community booth. How do you like our booth?
It's very, very comfortable, very spacious.
Yeah.
I really like it. Like I said before, a lot of familiar faces, yeah, and everything.
So it's nice to be here as well, just to get to know people a little bit better. You know, the people behind the scenes, not just in a professional sense, but also just how you know, what makes you tick, I suppose, as a person. You know, is there anything that you'd like to share with us? You know, how long have you been with the company? Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do there.
Thanks. I moved to India maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I started with KLite 9 years. I started off handling the operations of the company. So we've got 9 factories, 900 people currently. So we've been blessed to be able to kind of grow to that level.
Yeah.
And just a wonderful group of people. You know, it's something I was so surprised about coming to India. Not surprised, but like I came, because I love operations.
Yeah.
Right. But I stayed because I really fell in love with the people. So warm, so caring.
I suppose at the end of the day, it is a people business, right?
Absolutely.
For the connections and the relationships you build with everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can love what you do, but whenever you love the people you're doing it with, you can put up with quite a lot.
Absolutely. Tolerate a lot more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, and so from a people standpoint. So you did a lot with operations. Has your role evolved a lot over the time that you've been there? So you've been there for 9 years, you said.
Yeah. So I mean, originally came in and just kind of shadowed the teams for a couple of months to understand, and naturally I had to get used to the culture and understand that a little bit more, because when you're making cultural shifts, in a company, you have to understand the people first, right?
Yeah. So
really try to understand them better, before rubbing them the wrong way.
Yeah.
and just kind of building a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Before I guess when you understand and you trust each other, then you understand whenever you're making a decision that will make people uncomfortable, if they respect you and know that you respect them and you're really there for what's best for everybody.
Yeah.
And you really weigh in and try to understand the situation before making those decisions. I think that it really goes a long way. Instead of someone getting really upset or we're all uncomfortable with change.
Yeah.
Right? And whenever you care about somebody and you believe in that person and their, having your best interest at heart, then it just makes change so much smoother, right?
Yeah.
So much easier to make these changes, and we've made a lot of big changes internally in the last 9 years, really trying to kind of, get those systems and processes set in a much more robust way, but also make sure that we keep that that warmness and that love that you feel whenever you're kind of like in a mom and pop, where you can talk to the owners of the company and they can hear what's going on, and you don't have so much red tape.
That people talk to?
People do talk to me, probably too much, I mean, meaning that I probably talk to them too much, and probably, I have been accused of being heavily HR centric, So that's one thing you were saying, how has it evolved, right? So in the beginning I did worry about that, but I was really more focused on the operations and setting the systems up and tracking that. As you say, in management, if you don't measure, you can't manage it.
No.
So we wanted to make sure that we were measuring everything and trying new things and moving forward. And they say the more you fail, the closer you come to success.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think that we've certainly.
What was it? Edison discovered the light bulb after the 10,000th.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like
so you know we're not trying for that, but yeah, we've certainly put in our.
You got there a bit quicker than Edison.
Yeah. So
yeah,
but
have you always been in lighting yourself?
No, not always been in lighting. So we were. I was in management earlier for printing machinery.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
So my family business back in the United States, we used to do a refurbishing of printing machinery and sell it all over the United States.
Yeah.
And our market, one of our markets for sales was India.
Was India.
Yeah.
Now let's have a little chat about the virtual lighting design community itself. You might be a little bit less familiar maybe than maybe Sharmila is, but what are your first impressions of our community and what we're trying to do?
Well, I'm so glad that you started this because, like you were saying earlier, the intention was not to take away from meeting people in person. The intention was to spread knowledge and education and connect people on a common platform in lighting, so that whenever we do meet up, you know, our interactions will be more impactful.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think if
and I would imagine then that you know, an educational aspect is quite important to you as a company as well, to make sure that people are aware not only just of the brand but what you can do in lighting in general.
Well, we understand that years ago it was a seller's market and knowledge was not readily and easily available.
Yeah.
And as you know, the lighting industry is transforming in India. Specifically right now they're going through that, and I think now is the time for people to really get educated and understand the purpose and the quality of lighting and the difference in those particular things. So now
awareness is a big thing.
Yeah, so it's very, very important, and especially for us, like you said, because we're a solution-based company, right? We're not here just to sell you a light. We're here to try to help understand your situation, work with lighting designers, and understand what problem they're trying to solve and what they're trying to do. Because so many aspects they're taking into consideration whenever they're designing something, and we just want to make sure that we understand that as best we can and work with them to give them something to be able to help them solve these problems for people, so that we can enjoy our spaces that we're doing better, and so that we can kind of have that mutual ecosystem with animals also, right? Like with the night and everything like that. So it's quite important for us to understand what they're going for, because they are the people who've really studied you know, the effects of light on nature and on humans and environments and things like that.
So do you see that a community like ours could be a really good avenue to tap into the members that are part of our community, which range from younger people who are aspiring lighting designers. We have a lot of students who are part of our community, a lot of veteran lighting designers, I should call them.
I mean, it's pretty important.
Who have a great deal of experience, but we've got everywhere in between as well. And tapping into something like that, do you see that as being a beneficial resource for you to be able to sort of share some of that you've just told me?
Absolutely. So like I was saying, it's very important for us to understand where the community is coming from and where they're going, because ultimately it's them who is solving all of these problems, and it's us who is trying to help them solve their problems, right? So they'll come up with a solution, and then it's our job to figure out how to put that in a a form factor so that they can apply it, and then obviously things are transitioning, and there's not that much knowledge being shared in India generally. I think in lighting, and there's a lot of we just think it's a light, right? If you need to light up a room, you just anybody can design, anybody can just put something in the ceiling and it'll light up, and that's fine. It gets the job done. But really, it affects our mood, and it affects our comfort level, and it affects our productivity. And there's so many more things that the lighting design community actually understands, right?
Yes.
Whenever they're doing that, so it's really important for India to understand the positive effects of using a lighting designer, and then obviously if your veterans are training the next generation, then they'll come into it with a lot more respect and a lot more knowledge and a lot more know-how. So it's really, really important.
Yeah.
And then obviously if we're connecting through that, then we're learning what the expectations are, how things are moving, and how we can better serve the community that way.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's very, it's
agree
very
with that.
important.
Yeah.
And obviously we can't always have these interactions and sit around asking these, so we can actually go online and watch some of these videos, listen to some dialogue, and
I mean, that's what we were saying off camera before. Nothing actually beats the in-person experience, face to face. Like these events are absolutely crucial to be able to do that in person.
Right.
But when we're not here, where are we gonna hang out?
Yeah, exactly.
Where
we gotta
have
somewhere
chats?
to. Yeah, you're right.
Now, in sort of getting towards the end, is there anything sort of that inspires you? Just in general, like gets you out of bed in the morning. Whether that's to do with lighting or anything else. That might be worth sharing.
I don't know about worth sharing. I think that we all think about our health, right? And I make that a big part of it. My daily routine to get up in the morning and try to mind, body, spirit. Focus on getting those things kind of done in the morning before going off and working in the office. But I think that I love lighting because it ties into health, overall health, right? So having, just as an example, living in India for such a long time. Now, when I go back home, I was just there for Christmas. Yeah. It's so cold there, it's so dark there, that like I take it for granted living in India, whenever it's nice and warm and the lights are out, all during the day. When I go back, I can actually feel a difference in my mood and how I'm, my energy levels whenever I'm there. And so since we're spending more and more time indoors these days, it helps me understand firsthand the difference that light is playing, the role it's playing, and obviously it's having more and more important role in our health, and I think food, obviously, emotional health. So we're talking about therapies and meditations and things of that nature.
I guess it forms like one of those essential pillars of health in a way.
Absolutely, and I always took it for granted, right?
Yeah.
And now, unfortunately, when I go into a space, I'm extremely critical. Yeah. Even in our own spaces, when I come and sit down and the light's too bright, the glare's too high, or it's not. There's not enough lux on the table for me to do my work.
What is this?
Yeah, exactly. I say, what is this, right? So it's, it's kind of bittersweet because now that I'm more aware of it, having worked in the industry, now I can't ignore it, right?
No.
And earlier I was not aware that it was causing, a little bit of, more of an issue, I guess.
It was funny because just as a bit of a side, we went to see the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi recently, and they've done an amazing job there. But everywhere you go, whether it's there or other places, you notice the lighting. Whereas if you're just a tourist and you're walking through, you're like, it's lit, it's lit. It looks nice,
Right.
But like you were saying before, in our own spaces, you go, oh yeah, there's a scallop there, or there's one light's
right.
You got a bright spot here, or it's you notice all these little differences, and
it can be a problem.
Yeah.
once you like you were saying, once you're more aware of it, right? Then it becomes important. Right.
Yeah. Now I've been really glad that I met you. I haven't met you before today, but it's nice to see you just across the
just across the way
there.
Yeah, we're
there
lucky
and,
that we're
have a chat. But I appreciate you come down and having a chat, and of course, overall being a supporter of the community that we've got, and hopefully we can continue to work a bit more together on the
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
things in
having
the future.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.